Canucks win streak is one and done. They come up short in a 5-4 loss to New Jersey. Fun night of hockey. We're breaking it down on Rink Wide Vancouver. Welcome inside the Pacific Toyota Dealer Studios. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. The New Jersey Devils defeat the Vancouver Canucks by a score of 5-4. This is Rink Wide. It's brought to you in part by Bet365. I'm Jeff. He's Irf. And I think this is the kind of loss that just about everybody can get behind. The young guys had some moments. There were a bunch of goals. Wasn't a ton of goaltending, but in the end, Canucks come up a goal short. No more winning. They don't move up in the standings, and so the ones that want to see them play hard and compete, they got that. The Tankists, well, at the end of the day, Canucks fall to the Devils, and so they remain on 39 points.
That was a 10 out of 10 tank game, Jeff. That was executed to perfection by the Vancouver Canucks. Yes. The first period sucked, but beyond that, yeah, it was a pretty good hockey game. I mean, look, there were chances back and forth. You know, Hughes Bowl gets a highlight reel goal. The young guys showed well. You know, you got some contributions from other guys. They tried hard. The last 4 minutes of the game was spectacular. Some of the best empty net defending that I've ever seen. I put that out there on socials. But like you just said, and you finished your thought, it was, you know, in the end, they don't move up in the standings. It was entertaining. Fans got their money's worth at Rogers Arena, and here we are talking about it.
And we've already got a super chat, and we'll get to it shortly. And so we're off to a good start here on Rink Wide. Bring it with the super chat. Your thought on a fun Friday night of hockey. What you saw from some of the young players. Again, there's all kinds of trade talk out there around this Vancouver Canuck Hockey Club as we inch closer to that March 6th trade deadline. Halfway through the homestand now. The win against the Washington Capitals is a distant memory, and 4 down, 4 to go here on the homestand with Pittsburgh coming in on Sunday afternoon. But if you want to bring it with a super chat, we'd certainly encourage that and a contribution to our charity partner, the BC Mental Health Foundation, changing the face of mental health and addiction by supporting breakthroughs in care, public understanding, research, and knowledge exchange. Domaniac says if we continue to lose and see that sort of entertainment at the end, I'm down for it. And I think that's basically what Irf said. Super chat from 7-7. Petey, the best goalie in the game tonight? Yes. Ding, ding, ding. This was not a banner night for Kevin Lankinen, nor for Jacob Markstrom. Markey gets the win, but I think we saw a lot of the things that have plagued him all season long. My goodness, his rebound control on 2 of the goals. The Linus Karlsson, that was a meaty rebound of a Nils Höglander shot, and then Yves Bouyem follows his own rebound. Thank you very much, and puts it back home. As we watch it on the live stream here, I mean, terrific play off the faceoff. Elias Pettersson wins the draw back to Bouyem. Looks like he's going to go wide, then cuts to the inside. I think it was Paul Cotter that he left in his dust there. Gets the shot away, and then has the presence of mind to hustle to the front of the net, probably knowing that rebounds were to be had in this hockey game. Bouyem scores against the Devils, just as he did in his Canuck debut at the Meadowlands, or at the Prudential Center, I guess, the Rock, old habits die hard, in New Jersey back in middle of December. So, to see Yves Bouyem get a goal, to see Nils Höglander starting to find his offensive game. Linus Karlsson hadn't scored in a while, but had been playing hard. But, again, nice finish there. Pounces on that loose puck and makes no mistake. And, all of this coming after the Devils had built a 3-0 lead. And now maybe the fact that the Canucks erased a 2-0 deficit the other night against Washington gave people some belief. At 3-0, it wasn't looking good early in that second period. But again, credit to the Canucks. Adam Foote called out the veterans the other night, wanted these guys to up their compete level. I think they have. I mean, I think that much we've seen for the most part, that this wasn't a matter of a lack of effort. But you give up 5, you're not going to win very often, and that was the case here tonight.
Yeah, and look, like I said before, and we kind of joked off the top, the perfect tank game, this, that, and the other, but in fairness to the Vancouver Canucks and their fans and people that sit and watch the team, people that cover the team, people that work for the team, they are who they are right now. They're last place in the standings. They're nowhere near getting to catch up to the team that's in front of them right now, unless they go on a wild run and things like that. So if you get nights and you stack nights of entertaining hockey and you go and play hard and you do the things that your coaches want you to do and if you get down, you can come back in these hockey games. At least you entertain your fans, right? And if you come out with a loss, so be it. But you're going to get at least a couple of wins here at some point, and it's going to feel good for the players. But for this one, I mean, like you mentioned, Ziv Boum, that goal, that was spectacular. And if fans have any indication of what they're going to see down the road, some of that's pretty nice. Brock Besser getting back on the score sheet again, that's got to feel good for him. And then the other player that obviously I wanted to mention was Teddy Bluger. Right? And a lot of talk about guys rising, their trade stock rising. Evander Kane's name come up today from Kevin Weeks, but Teddy Bluger's a guy that, he comes back into lineup after missing 44 games and, gets a shorthanded goal.
Yeah, and it was a pretty one set up by Drew O'Connor. Of course, the one name that we haven't talked about was the one that everybody was talking about all day, and that's Philip Hedl, and we'll certainly get around to his night and his return to the lineup for the first time since October the 19th. But before we go any further, let's get to the 3 stars of this hockey game. Lots of candidates, lots of guys figuring in the scoring. 3 stars brought to you, as always, by Greta Bar. And Super Bowl coming up. Be a great place to watch the big game. There's playoff football this weekend. Of course, the Canucks homestand continues. So you want it, it's there for you at Greta. Food and drink specials, great atmosphere, the arcade games, and a ton of big screens for all of the games that are going on. Check it out, Greta Bar, the place to be, 50 West Cordova. Greta Bar, let the games begin. 3 stars in the building, as selected by the Sportsnet crew. Cody Glass, Lenny Hamanejo, who opened the scoring with his first NHL goal. And
who?
Had a breakaway in the third. Lenny got 2nd-star honors in this hockey game. Ziv Boum is the 3rd star. So we went a little different here. Cody Glass, 2 goals, an assist. He's in on 3 of the 5 goals. His 2nd goal of the night turns out to be the game winner. That's enough to be 1st star in my books. Nico Hischier, who just plays hard every night. Well-rounded, good in every area. He had a goal, a power play goal early in the 2nd period that extended the Jersey lead to 2-0. Also picked up an assist, had 3 shots on goal. So Nico Hischier is the 2nd star, and I'm going Linus Karlsson. We talked about his goal, pouncing on the rebound. Also with a redirection in the slot that handcuffs Jacob Markstrom enough that he kicks out the rebound, and Brock Besser there with the goaltender pulled for an extra attacker. So good to see Linus Karlsson with a multi-point effort. Linus Karlsson got his championship ring yesterday along with his Abbey teammates, and finds the back of the net and then picks up an assist as well. So there you go, 3 stars, Glass, Hischier, and Linus Karlsson. The Brock goal comes late, but we've been wondering for so long where are the goals from Brock Besser. Suddenly it's 3 goals in 5 games now for him. And again, this one comes in a losing cause, as the one in Columbus did, but the other night was part of the victory as well. The losses are going to weigh on him as one of the veteran guys, but this, I would think, at least alleviates a little bit of pressure and reminds him that, he knows how to put a puck in the net at the NHL level.
Well, absolutely. And it's from one of the areas that, he found a lot of success, is right in tight, in close. It's where when he got those 16 power play goals that season, a lot of them were in those positions with the extra attacker or with the man advantage, being able to get yourself in those situations. We just haven't seen in his run of not scoring goals, him get to those areas, him finding the soft spots of the ice that he's been good at. That goal that he scored the other night where he was able to, get his body contorted in a way where he's able to guide the puck into that top corner against Logan Thompson. Beautiful goal. That's a Brock Besser goal that we're so used to seeing. So good for him to be able to do that, and you hope that you can see him now find some confidence in that and shoot the puck a little bit more.
People are loving the EP40 at the end of the game.
I saw that.
Charlie with the super chat says, EP40, best contract in the NHL.
What?
1C and starting Tandy. Well, he wasn't the starter tonight. He was pressed into action there because Kevin Lankinen's on the bench, as we showed on the live stream. The initial chance off Brad, that's a great save. Puck gets to the line. And then as the Canucks cleared the zone, it went out to center. I think it was Brad again that had a chance, and it looked like he was just going to take his time and fire it in. But Petey with the back check and lifted his stick and took the puck away. So people can talk about Elias Pettersson, the disappointing point totals, the contract, everything else, but you can't say that the guy wasn't battling his ass off until the final buzzer. But on a night when everybody was getting theirs, Don't see him on the score sheet. And in a one-goal game, check that. He did have an assist.
He had an assist.
He got the assist on the Bouillon goal. So he is one of the guys that figured in the scoring. But only 14 minutes and 18 seconds of ice time for Elias Pettersson, 11:51 at 5-on-5. Now, part of that is because for the second straight game, they inserted a National Hockey League center that they haven't had the services of all season. The other night it was Teddy Bluger. Teddy got up over 18 minutes in his return to the lineup. And Philip Hedl, back, missed 44 games, October the 19th in Washington, the big hit from Tom Wilson. And Philip Hedl returns to the lineup, plays 18 minutes and 29 seconds, has 2 shots, 4 attempts, credited with a hit, and won 8 of 13 faceoffs. Now, no scoring for him, although he did have a pretty good chance early in the hockey game. O'Connor sends it across the slot, and I thought Markstrom maybe got a piece of it when they showed the replay. No, Hedl just kind of skied it over the net. But, again, I mean, it had to feel good to find himself in a scoring position that early in his return to the lineup. And overall, I mean, the first thing is I think he got through the night.
Yep.
So that part is encouraging and didn't look out of place. I tried to watch him pretty closely on all of his shifts, and there were some moments. Again, he wasn't the best player on the ice, but I don't think he or anybody else should have been expecting that. But I would call this a fairly successful return to the lineup, and I'm just sure he's delighted to have this one behind him.
Yeah, a couple shots on net. 18 and a half minutes of ice time is a lot more than I thought that he was going to play in this hockey game. And like you mentioned, you got to feel good for him to be able to get through this hockey game. But I love what he said before the game and leading up. It's been the Philip Hedl news cycle the last couple of days. And, he's obviously asked, we talked about it. Is he going to have to change the way that he plays? And he goes, no, I'm not going to rush into changing the way that I play because this is how I've gotten here. And, I think that, Murph said that he had said that, he was upset at some of his teammates for not going a little bit harder on him in practice to try and give him some hits. So you can't ever replicate a game situation in practice no matter what it is. But for Philip Hedl on this night, he makes it through the hockey game. Doesn't really look out of place, and I thought that was good. And maybe Philip Hedl in 5 or 6 games buries that chance that he has and just kind of maybe got a little bit excited. You saw the net kind of wide open there and flew it over it.
This is kind of crazy. In a game that has 9 goals, all kinds of offense, Elias Pettersson was 3rd among Canucks centers in ice time behind Hedl and Teddy Bluger. Played more tonight in this game than Elias Pettersson. And Teddy scored, and it was a nice shorthanded goal. But that surprises me a little bit. Now, part of the storyline there is one of Petey's wingers went missing in action for much of the second period. I'll be curious to hear if Adam Foote's asked about his deployment of Jake DeBrusk, who basically was parked. He had 1 shift over the final 12 minutes of the second period. Jake DeBrusk finishes under 13 minutes of ice time without a single shot on goal. So the coach called out a bunch of veterans the other night. Most of them responded, but I don't know if Jake didn't get the message 2 games later, but something wasn't right with Jake DeBrusk in this hockey game.
Yeah, and I mean, he's gotten the message already. He got sat, whereas we thought that other guys were going to get sat instead of just being called out and responding. So it's an interesting one that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on here as this story kind of goes forward with the Vancouver Canucks as to the deployment of Jake DeBrusk. Was it a benching? I mean, it had to have been at that point. It didn't seem like he was injured at all in the hockey game. So, chalk that up to a coach's decision to not play one of his highest paid wingers in this hockey game where, he's supposed to be one of your skill guys, supposed to be a guy that, is out there at the end of the games. And who was out there instead of Jake DeBrusk at the end of the game? The Doc.
The Doc is becoming a specialist in late game situations. And again, he's just playing hard right now.
Yep.
I think here's the answer. Why did Jake DeBrusk not play much in this hockey game? Individual Corsi of 16%. The shot attempts were 15-3 in his limited ice time. Just 9:55. He was the low Canuck in 5-on-5 ice time in this hockey game. Shots on goal, 5-0 for the Devils. Scoring chances, 7-1. Yeah, it was not a banner night for Jake DeBrusk. And so he sat and watched, and others stepped in. That's surprising. But not even a month since he got the healthy scratch. And here he is getting the message sent to him yet again. Let's get to our stat that stands out, Irf. It's delivered by Uber Eats, and Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app. Every time the Canucks are playing at home, you can get a buy one, get one 6-piece chicken McNuggets from McDonald's in Vancouver, only on Uber Eats, from game day eats to paper plates and napkins. If you're the one doing the hosting, all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. Hashtag Crave the Stats. And in a 5-4 loss to the New Jersey Devils scored twice on the power play. Canucks got a shorthanded goal, but they went 0 for 2 on the power play themselves, including one in the third period. Special teams, a difference here, as they have been almost every night this month. You know the Canucks record in the month of January, and one of the big reasons is right there, our stat that stands out. Vancouver's penalty killing after this game, Irv, 16 for 31, 51.6% as we near the month end. I mean, it's the 23rd. There are still a few more games, but this is the January total, 31 times shorthanded, and the Canucks have killed off 16 and given up 15 power play goals. Yikes.
Yeah, that's not good. It's worse than a coin flip. Yeah, I saw you mentioned on X a while ago the PK was a coin flip. Well, now, the more often than not, the puck is going to be in the back of the net.
Well, not quite. 16 times they're killing, 15 times it's going in. So they're still on the right side of 50%, but by the narrowest of margins. And, Adam Foote turns to the young guys so often. This isn't about the young guys. We're talking the penalty killers. We're talking the staples of this defense core. It's Hronek. It's Marcus Pettersson. This was a carnival of a night for Tyler Myers, and we've said that far too many times. He was on the ice for the final 4 New Jersey goals in this hockey game. One of them was roaming all around the zone, was hard to find. The goal that turns out to be the winner, Cody Glass's second, Tyler Myers gets trapped inside the zone. Marcus Pettersson didn't play the entry particularly well, and Brock Besser didn't exactly wrap up Cody Glass, but Myers was the guy trapped there on that goal. And so, it's been an adventure on a lot of nights, too many nights, unfortunately, for Tyler Myers, and this was another one of them.
Well, we're getting to that point, if we've not already got there, about to have a serious conversation about Tyler Myers and his playing future here in Vancouver with the Canucks. I mean, look, when he's a 5'6" defenseman, I think he's serviceable. I think that there's, low ice time, doesn't have to play special teams, and can kind of mentor young guys in that aspect of it. But when you're asking Tyler Myers to be a shutdown defenseman, a penalty kill guy, like we talked about, I mean, you and I talked about this when we were watching the game. The game's getting younger, faster, and it's becoming increasingly more difficult for him just to be able to go out there and hang with some of these guys in those special team moments, and even at 5-on-5 as well. So for him, you're playing all these minutes and you look bad on a lot of nights we're sitting here. And he's not the only one. Don't get me wrong. Marcus Pettersson has had his fair share of struggles this season. The entire defensive core, minus basically Philip Hronek, has as well. But on more nights, you and I are sitting here doing this show saying that, man, this was another adventure for Tyler Myers. And that can't keep happening if you're the Vancouver Canucks.
I'm borrowing this one from the Sportsnet stats account on X.
Okay.
But this is a stat that stands out as well. Canucks allow 3 or more goals in 10 straight home games for the first time since 1989.
That was one.
1989. We're going back a ways.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that stands out for sure. And so, again, if they give up 3, maybe they muster enough. They did the other night against Washington. They give up 4. I don't like their chances, and they give up 5. It's pretty much unlikely that they are coming all the way back. And the thing is, there weren't even 50 shots on goal in this hockey game. The shots were 25-24 in the Canucks' favor. Devils score 5 times. The Canucks get 4. We talked about Jacob Markstrom. It's been a struggle for him all season long. He gets the win here, but he wasn't very good. And Kevin Lankinen didn't get a lot of help, but again, and we've talked about him on some of these shows recently, like, the Canucks just didn't protect the slot at all. I look at Nico Hischier's power play goal. Again, it's a power play goal, but wide open look in the slot, one-timer, bam, back of the net. The Cody Glass, his first of 2. Tip, in front of the net.
Yep.
Just allowed to stand there. Connor Brown, another power play goal for the Devils, wide open in the slot. Like, earlier in the season, it was the cross seam passes that were getting the Canucks. Maybe they've worked too hard to prevent those, but now they're sort of widening the box and allowing that guy in the middle to find the soft ice. And tonight, the Devils absolutely picked the Canucks apart doing that. So whatever the case, breakdowns cost the Canucks. So, you give NHLers grade A looks. Like Connor Brown's not a sniper necessarily, but the guy's double digits now.
Yep.
But man, he had time. He picked his spot, and he just snapped it up high over the glove hand of Kevin Lankinen. Still, when I look at the goals in totality, you give up 5. I'm sure Lankinen would sit there and tell you that he knows he had to be better.
Yeah, of course. And I think, definitely not pinning this one on Kevin Lankinen. There's, defensive miscues and mishaps all over the place in front of him. But if you're, it's not an Ottawa Senators level of you got to make a save. But
right.
At some point, you think you want your goalie to try and bail you out of this one in one way or another. But that's the book on the Canucks now, Jeff. You mentioned the seam passes. That was something that hurt them and haunted them for a while this season. And now it's just, you look at the Vancouver Canucks on their PK, guys get lost all the time. It happens, and the center of the ice, that bumper position right in front, that is going to be open 9 times out of 10. If you can find yourself, get away from Tyler Myers, get away from Marcus Pettersson, and kind of inch in between the 2 top forwards, you're going to find yourself open a lot more than not. So it's happened in quite a few games this season, and now it's becoming a regular occurrence.
So they beat Washington, they lose to New Jersey here. The Canucks now 1 win in 13 hockey games.
Yes.
1-10-2. That's not very good. That's not very good, but this has been their season. The home ice record takes a hit, but as we said, I think anybody that was there tonight would say at least it was fun. It was entertaining. There was a lot going on. I think the ticket buying customer can accept that kind of loss, certainly more than what they saw on Saturday against the Edmonton Oilers. But the home record is what it is. It's 5-15-3 now at Rogers Arena. So that's 5 wins in 23 hockey games. That is not so good. And overall, the record at 17-29-5. So the Canucks not very good at home. We know that. Seems to me they stand a much better chance to win. 12 of their 17 wins have come away from home, which leads us into your chance to win the Ultimate Canucks road trip. So maybe you go out on the road and you see them get a W. Get Pacific Blue Cross travel insurance for your chance to see the Canucks take on the Kings in Los Angeles, complete with flights, hotel, lower bowl tickets, and more. No purchase necessary. Must be a resident of British Columbia. Contest ends February 28th, 2026. So you got some time, but jump on this one. Enter now at pacificbluecross.ca/Canucks. Again, the website, pacificbluecross.ca/Canucks. Your chance to see the Canucks in Los Angeles. All right, next up, the Pittsburgh Penguins. So a little more star power coming this way. That's on Sunday afternoon. We'll talk more about that one as we go. But I do want to mention, we spent a fair bit of time talking about Ziv Bouillon, and good to see. He plays 23 minutes and 59 seconds. So clearly the hockey club liked what they saw out of him. 2.5 minutes of the power play there and late in the game. And it looks like, and I think this is the right call. And I don't mind them mixing it up, and I didn't mind them experimenting, but Ziv Bouillon back manning the point on the first unit power play. I just say let that one ride for a little while and allow him to sort of find his legs and live with the mistakes if they come. But I think it's the right call to get him back there on the first unit power play.
Well, you obviously know what Philip Roenick can do. I mean, by this point in his career and at his stage, you know exactly what he's going to bring you on that first unit power play. And as for Ziv Bouillon, let the kid dance. Let him go out there and try and make things happen. And if he, like you said, makes mistakes while doing it, then so be it. You're last place in the league. Like you're only going to learn what you have if you go out and let these kids try and play. And you let him play, and you saw the brilliant goal that he scored, absolutely dancing around Paul Cotter and be able to track his rebound and score that goal. His first goal at home as a member of the Vancouver Canucks for Ziv Bouillon. But yeah, I mean, I like that. I think that they need to know what they have in this guy. And the power play should be a revolving door anyway. It should be whoever's playing well, who, Adam Foote thinks is going that night, be able to go out there and try and get some things going. You're going to have your staples. Elias Pettersson's always going to come over the boards. Brock Besser's probably always going to jump over the boards. But beyond that, the Garlands, the Evander Kanes, the Jake DeBrusk here at some point, because that's the only time that he does score. Drew O'Connor, why not? Liam Mogren, give him some shot. Give him some time up there. Why not?
I do want to talk about Evander Kane. We'll talk about his night and some of the talk that is working its way around him. This segment of Rink Wide, presented by the Pacific Toyota dealers and the Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid. We tell you every show, it's a no-compromise approach to electric vehicles that offers the best of both worlds. You can drive up to 72 kilometers on battery alone. That's enough to get you from downtown to the rink, the grocery store, and then home to recharge. Seamlessly transitions from electric mode to the gas engine for a combined range of, get this, 962 kilometers. No sacrifices when it comes to horsepower or style with its sleek, low, wide exterior and a sophisticated interior. And it's loaded with tech that is actually easy to use. Right now, you can lease a 2026 Prius plug-in hybrid SE from $109 weekly at 3.99% APR for 64 months with $3,300 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. We're going to hear from Zeev Buium in a sec, but I did mention Evander Kane. Had scored in back-to-back games, doesn't find the score sheet in this hockey game. I didn't notice him an awful lot aside from the spin-around post that he hit with about 15 seconds to go in the second period, which at that point it was a 4-3 hockey game. Like, Zeev Buium had just scored in the final minute of the second, and then Canucks apply some pressure right after the goal. That one hit the post, and I mean, Kane's probably he got a lucky bounce the other day, so maybe it all balances out. But the way that hit the post and came right across the goal line, and Jacob Markstrom was able to swallow it up and get the whistle there. But in a lot of those instances, you'll see it. The goaltender fumbling for it and put it in himself. But really, I don't know. Did you? I can't recall anything else. Don't have any notes written about Evander Kane's night.
No, not much going for Evander other than that chant. Other than his name being out there today from Kevin Weeks saying that it sounds like Colorado and Dallas are two of the favorites to land Evander Kane if and when he is traded. It's going to be to one of those two teams, which is interesting. Evander does have some protection, and if it comes out like that, where it's only two teams, you have to wonder if it's from the player side that's saying that, okay, can we get this done? And here's where I want to go. Sometimes that does happen. Sometimes that doesn't happen. You never know. Another player, you mentioned Evander Kane that, we talk about and always has, a lot of heart and plays hard, was Conor Garland. Wasn't really doing too much in the last couple of games, Jeff. And
he's in a rut. He's in a massive rut. And I go back to the fact that he hasn't scored on a goalie since November 26th in Anaheim. An empty net goal at Madison Square more than a month ago. I know he missed a little bit of time, but that's his only goal. And, you're not measuring him on goals alone.
No.
But, okay, if so he's not scoring, then you want to see the hustle and the fiery Conor Garland. You want to see that side amped up even more, but I'm not seeing that at all right now.
Yeah, no, and we'll have to wonder if there's an injury there, or maybe there's some trade speculation involving him, which, if I'm the Vancouver Canucks, and I look at him in the situation here right now, his no-trade call kicks in on July 1st, so he's going to have full control of where he's going to go, if he is going to go. The Canucks are getting an offer that maybe they like, maybe they don't. Why not try and explore that option? I mean, like we've said, we've talked about it a million times on the show. Nothing is off the table for this team. So if you're looking to get a return for Evander Kane, why not look to get a return for a guy like Conor Garland? You have to figure out who the veterans that you want to be in the locker room and around this team as it gets younger and continues to go through this rebuild. And I know Conor Garland is a good veteran in the National Hockey League. I know he plays really, really, really hard, but at that cap hit, you're going to have a lot more options to yourself right now than you will come July 1st once he has that protection.
Yeah, 15 and a half minutes for Conor Garland. Took the double minor, the high stick on Hischier that led to... the Lander penalty led to the power play goal. So the Canucks were able to kill off both ends of the Garland penalty, but no shots on goal. Like Jake DeBrusk, low ice time and no shots on goal. Like, it just wasn't happening for Conor Garland either. All right, want to hear from Zeev Buium. Scored in his debut in New Jersey. something about those Devils uniforms. Hopefully he'll find some. They're done with the Devils, so he's going to have to find some other opponents to score against. But again, I like the move. I like the confidence. I like the finish. Ultimately, it comes in a 5-4 loss. But let's hear from Zeev Buium after this one tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great push. Thought we obviously kind of gave it all, and what I liked is we just didn't quit, and it says a lot about our group. So obviously just clean up a couple things, and hopefully we can start putting some wins together.
How did you see the play develop on your goal?
I mean, I think we had the play deed on the wall, and I think just make a play, right? I mean, just take what's given, and just kind of use my feet and try to make a play. I mean, it was a great job by Petey. I think took it right, and snapping it back that clean. We got a couple picks, so makes it easy for me to kind of attack downhill. So and then also great net front presence. I mean, it was a rebound, and Markstrom didn't know where the puck was, so that was nice.
How are you feeling about your game as a whole right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's ups and downs. I think it's getting better each game, but trying to make more of a push to do some of the things I was doing out there today, and kind of skating the puck up the ice, getting my feet moving, and stuff like that.
How nice was it to finally get your first at Rogers Arena?
Yeah, it felt good. I think that's something everyone wants to do when you're at home. You want to score, and it definitely felt nice to get in front of our fans.
Yeah, there you go. First time that he's had the fans cheer for him after a goal. And one of the reasons, the Canucks got 4 the other night, and they won. They get 4 here tonight. They don't win, but one of the reasons that the goal totals are up a little bit, Phil Hronek scored the other night. Here's Zeev Buium. Canucks don't get a lot from their back end, and certainly their most dangerous offensive weapon was traded away. Phil Hronek's had a nice season. But even at that, the goal the other day was his 4th of the year. This is the 5th of the season for Buium, and 3 of them came in Minnesota. So the Canucks don't get a ton. When you see a Jacob Chychrun come through town the other night and he has 18 himself, that's not how the Canucks defense is built. So nice to see a couple of contributions from the back end. The other night it was Hronek jumping into the rush. Here it was a heads-up play by Buium off the faceoff. So some different kinds of goals, but still, Canucks will take contributions from anybody at this stage. And again, want to see more of that from Buium. So hopefully that is just a boost. He seems like a pretty confident guy, regardless.
Yeah.
But positive reinforcement. Maybe that'll just allow him to try that move again here sooner rather than later.
Well, that, and I also think that you look at the ice time, right? Because there was times during this losing stretch where Zeev Buium wasn't playing a lot of hockey. There was also a time where he was a healthy scratch. And now you look at it and say, okay, he's playing 24 minutes. He's getting that first power play time. Jeff, he's 20.
Yep.
We got to remember, this kid's only 20 years old. So for him he's still learning this game as well at the NHL level. So for him to go out and, play the way that he has, and, obviously the losses are going to suck because he's, A, not used to losing, and B, it happens a lot here. He's going to have to figure out his way, kind of how to navigate that and how to get himself ready to go playing games where you're probably not going to be a favorite in, where everyone kind of has already counted you out for the rest of the season. So what are you going to do, and how are you going to do to be a professional and go into the situations and try and make the most of it every night?
Just looking at the breakdown in the ice time, we said Buium played 23:59, 2.5 minutes on the power play. Tom Willander played 13 minutes and 15 seconds. So Buium played 10 minutes more. One's a lefty, one's a righty. So, that factors in a little bit. But Willander had a minute and a half on the power play as well. So Buium played 10 minutes more at even strength than Tom Willander did. Didn't love Willander on the Lenny Hamaneho goal, the opener, which, by the way, is the second fastest goal against the Canucks this season. Maverick Bourque of Dallas scored 55 seconds into a game, but this at 1:41. Teddy Bluger loses the faceoff, shot goes off the end boards, and Willander just a little slow to react, and Hamaneho able to get position on him there, bangs it in and gives the Devils the lead they were looking for. Only goal of the first period. But yeah, just again, in his own zone. There's lots to like in Tom Willander's game, but we've seen this enough through the year as well that there's still plenty of room for him to grow out the defensive part of, and he is a defenseman after all.
Yeah, and I think when you look at it from their defensive structure and who they have there, Myers, Hronek, Marcus Pettersson, the veterans of the group, and then you've got Zeev Buium, you've got Tom Willander, you got Victor Mancini, and whoever else is going to end up playing back there on any given night. And I think that when you look at it going into the offseason, I think they're going to want another vet back there. Whether it's to stabilize things, whether it's to help with kind of the development. And who would have been perfect for it? The guy that's out the rest of the season or the rest of the year, and that's Derek Forbort, right? He was a guy that probably would have been perfect for that position for these young guys to help them out a little bit more, especially during these tough stretches, just to kind of be there. I mean, obviously, he probably is around the team and in the room and things like that, but it's a lot different when you're on the ice and can see it, can feel it, can experience it with these players.
I saw Derek Forbort with my own eyes yesterday at the rink. He was having a chat with Brendan Dillon as the Devils were coming into practice and Forbort was on his way out, so... good to see him, but it certainly doesn't sound like we're going to see him in uniform.
Yeah,
I do think with the struggles of Marcus Pettersson and Tyler Myers this year, I don't know how much Derek Forbort would have played in terms of being an every night guy, especially as they were trying to integrate young players, but it would have provided a little bit of insulation if Marcus Pettersson's struggling, either limit his ice time if Forbort's in the lineup, or maybe for a night you have to sit him down. And same goes with Tyler Myers. Myers is going to be 36 here on February the 1st. There aren't, I'd have to look it up, but not many guys get to play in the NHL at 36, and there's a reason for that, generally the age curve catches up to everybody. And so, Forbort certainly would have helped on the penalty kill, but I just also think that another veteran there that could have spelled off some of the guys that have had their struggles. Going to get to your line of the night in a moment, but I do want to tell you about this new partnership here the Nation Network has with Levelwear, a great Canadian sportswear company, and this collaboration that they want us to tell you about between Hurley and Levelwear. Hurley brings that laid-back board sports energy, and this collection pulls inspiration from the Hawaiian and coastal prints, relaxed, expressive, rooted in lifestyle. That's where Levelwear comes in then. It takes the inspiration, brings it to life through performance-driven, sustainably made apparel that's actually built to move and play. The result is the Fairwaves collection, modern golf silhouettes that feel lighter and more wearable, less rigid, respectful of the game's roots, but definitely not stuck in tradition. Collection is live, and it's available on Levelwear's website. Go to levelwear.com. You can check out. They've got polos, they've got hoodies, they got hats, and they've got casuals. So, again, the website to check is levelwear.com. All right, looking around the National Hockey League, heavy on Western games tonight. Anaheim defeats Seattle 4-2. Macklin Celebrini does it again.
Stud.
His second goal of the night, the one-timer. Oof, my goodness. 2 goals for him, up to 26 on the season. Sharks defeat the New York Rangers by a score of 3-1. Washington was a winner in Calgary by that same 3-1 score. Dallas beat St. Louis 3-2. Colorado, I don't know if it's just like the midseason dog days that they've done so much winning. It feels like they've let their foot off the gas, but Philly put 7 on them in Denver. 7-3 was the final there. Owen Tippett with a hat trick. And the Chicago Blackhawks picked up a loser point, but they get a single out of a shootout loss to the Tampa Lightning. So as we look at the updated standings now, way down there at the bottom, the Canucks with 39 points. St. Louis has 46. Calgary 47. Winnipeg 47. The Rangers at 48. Chicago now into the 50s. That point gets them 50 on the season. So it is still a 7-point gap between the Canucks in 32nd and the St. Louis Blues in 31st position. All right, what do you got your eye on for the Bet365 line of the night?
Well, I got smoked last night, so we're going to try and get back to the drawing board here with the Montreal Canadiens on the road. I love the Habs right now against the Boston Bruins. The Edmonton Oilers are going to beat the Washington Capitals. And the Minnesota Wild at home to the Florida Panthers. Those 3, it's not crazy odds, but they're still pretty good. So whatever you bet, it's never the moment, or it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app, get in on the game, use code NATION. Bet365 must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly.
Mel in our chat is asking, which assistant coach has the responsibility for the power play and the penalty kill? Kevin Dean, who handles the defense, is the guy that's overseeing the penalty kill. He basically took Adam Foote's role when Foote was promoted to head coach, because that used to be the jurisdiction of Adam Foote. So Kevin Dean has his work cut out for him with this penalty kill that can barely stay afloat. And then Brett McLean and Scott Young, they are in charge of the power play with Adam Foote having the final say. Power play wasn't great in this hockey game and hasn't been great of late. It had a decent run there for a while earlier in January. Even when they were losing, they were still finding ways to convert. Most of it was Jake DeBrusk. Now he's gone quiet again. So, yeah, that's the way that it is laid out. But Adam Foote is the head coach. The buck stops with him. And unfortunately, he's got to wear this record as a rookie head coach. I think we're going to hear from Adam Foote here momentarily. So we'll just wait for that. In the meantime, we can tell you, and we'll talk more about it in a second, but the Canucks with the 3 o'clock, the rare 3 o'clock start on Sunday afternoon. That's when Sid the Kid and the Penguins will be here. They're already in town. And so...
oh, yeah. They got a few nights here. They got today, tomorrow, an early afternoon game, and then, mid-afternoon game, and then going home on Monday. They have 2 games between now and Thursday. They play Sunday here and then Thursday at home.
Really? In a compressed schedule. We always hear about, no days off.
Yeah, well, the NHL knows what it's doing. Sid needs the break.
Yeah, got to keep Sid fresh. He's got a big assignment coming up here in a couple of weeks' time. All right. Are still waiting for the high sign that Adam Foote is.
I have a question. No, I just have a question for you. Look, these games, they're going to get worse and worse. And then maybe they're going to win a couple, but they are what they're going to be. And we're going to have to look at some players and the way that individually some efforts are good, some efforts are not good. But what do we need to hear more from Adam Foote? Like, what are things that you want to hear from him when he goes to the podium? Because we're going to get the regulars that we were right there, this, that, and the other. But what are things as we get to this, and it's going to get worse and worse here as the standings continue to stay the way they are? What do you want to hear from Adam Foote?
Yeah, I'm not so sure that I really need to hear so much. I think it's more how is he going to coach this team and fill out a lineup that reflects the direction that management has signaled now that they are in a full-on rebuild. And so I get Teddy Bluger's been battling hard to get back in the lineup. Of course you're going to play Teddy Bluger. And Philip Hedl wants to be an NHLer and wants to prove to himself and to everybody else that he can still play. And they've gone all season with this skeleton crew down the middle that I understand for Adam Foote, getting 2 guys that are legitimate National Hockey League centers. Of course you want them in there, but it comes at the expense of Aatu Räty for back-to-back games now, and Max Sasson, who is far from a perfect player, but has reached double digits in goals. He brings speed that a lot of guys in this lineup don't have. Now, maybe this is where moving off of Vander Kane and maybe a surprise trade somewhere else to clear out some space, like maybe it's time to try Aatu Räty as a winger. Yeah. And Adam Foote said that yesterday after practice, that they're not going to let it go here too long without him playing, but the next time we see him, he can be a winger who can still come in and take faceoffs and use what is one of his real gifts at this level. And I think they'd like Sasson's speed, but right now, who's Max Sasson going to bump out of the lineup? Unless you sit and, maybe you sit Liam Ogren for a game or 2. I'm not saying send him down, but I'm just saying, like, he's kind of gone cold. The effort's there, but there isn't a bottom line with Liam Ogren.
Yep. Maybe
he's a candidate to come out of the lineup. But Höglander's starting to produce a little bit. Carlson's having a fine season. I think he's Linus Karlsson's proven that he's one of their top 12 forwards. I don't think you're bringing him out of the lineup at this stage. And maybe you go higher with some of the veterans that need to have a seat again. We'll see what happens. But, so that's more what I'm looking for now on a nightly basis going into these games is how's Adam Foote filling out his lineup, and how much of it is a balance of these guys that have been injured that he wants back in the lineup, but also if you're supposed to be developing young players, then you got to find a way to get those young players into the lineup. Let's hear from Adam Foote after this 5-4 loss to the New Jersey Devils.
Well, Adam, what did you think of the performance from your group tonight?
There's some good things and some things, especially early. We had a slow start, and the first goal we went over on our pre-scout how good they are on the offensive draws, and we missed an edge battle right out of the gate. So just not being ready early, that we gave them one. Our PK, gave them 2. We got tired on the last one and kind of got drifted out of our quadrants when they had full control. And then we had 2 guys outside the dots on the first one, which never, you know, we've been doing it a little bit lately, but it's we're aware of that. So you can't give those guys chances. You can't drift on a passer. And we got sucked in twice. It just kind of gave them that, but we were resilient. I mean, you saw it. When we played our game plan, we were all over them. We gave them fits, but we can't give them, you know, 2 or 3 because we're just a little bit loose in our pre-scout, from our pre-scout.
What did you think of Hedl in his return to the lineup?
I liked him a lot. I mean, he can carry the puck up ice and make plays, and I thought he was smart about his neutral zone play as far as when a couple times our D put him in a tough spot where he got a short pass from them, and that, you know, you saw Dylan try to stand him up a couple times, which I thought he knew what he was doing, right? Which, you know, but he was aware of it. But I thought he did pretty good for missing a long time.
You made some comments, you know, 3 games ago about your veteran players and guys needing to push back when things aren't going well. The last 2 games, it looks like you've had that, where you guys have gone down 2 or even 3, and you guys have kept fighting. What are you seeing from that group?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. There's a lot of pushback. You saw it tonight. I mean, it was really resilient. I mean, you know, in the last game, you start down 2-0, you come back and win it. So that's clear they really are playing hard for each other. It's nice to see. And, you know, we got to just clean up a few things. You know, like I said, the offense, once we got below the tops of the circles, I thought we were owning them today. Actually, we've been doing a lot to teams. And you just we gotta clean up some things. It's almost like we got to really focus on it just because it's little things that lead to big, and then you're fighting uphill for the rest of the game.
All right, there you go. Adam Foote, again, trying to praise the veterans, like Philip Hedl, but, you know, it comes in a loss. And apparently he was asked about Jake DeBrusk, said that Jake DeBrusk was a game-time decision with an illness, and so maybe that factored into it. Again, we didn't think he was injured, and he did play again in the 3rd period, but Foote said that there was some thought that Jake DeBrusk wasn't even going to play in this hockey game.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense there. He didn't want him on the bench. Maybe feeling a little nauseous there.
Nobody wants you on the bench.
No, at that point, go get some vitamins, get a couple IVs, and get back out there for the 3rd. But that does make sense there.
There'll be no morning skate on Sunday, so 3 o'clock start. Canucks better be ready to go. Did you see what the Penguins did to the Oilers last night?
Yes, I did. What are they, 3:30-something?
Seconds, yeah. So they stuck to their former teammate, Thurston Jarry. 6-2 was the final score, but it was all Pens early. Penguins have won 3 in a row, 4-0-2 in their last 6 hockey games, so they're rolling. Sid leads them with 27 goals, 57 points, 10 of his goals coming on the power play. Evgeny Malkin scored a breakaway goal last night. He's got 12 goals on the season, 39 points. So you got the aging superstars, and then you got 18-year-old Ben Kindle from Coquitlam, who will play in the NHL for the first time. He was the 11th overall pick in the draft, just 18 years of age. That will be a thrill for him. And as an 18-year-old in the NHL, he's got 8 goals and 20 points. Like, he has held his own. Remember, like, Braden Coote started the season here, got 3 games. Here's Ben Kindle, and he's still going strong past the middle of January.
Yeah, they got to do their rookie party in Alberta for him.
Yeah, you're right. And, of course, part of the storyline, and I don't know, but they've pretty much alternated their goaltenders. So it was Artur Silovs last night against the Oilers. Might mean Stuart Skinner here, but that would kind of ruin a good storyline of Artie coming back to town. So we'll see what Dan Muse does with his goaltending. Artur Silovs, 9-6-8, has a 3.00 goals against average, 894. Fairly pedestrian numbers, but has held a NHL job all season long and not up because of injuries elsewhere. He is one of their 2 goaltenders, and obviously they made the big trade with the Oilers before Christmas there. So I hope Artie plays on Sunday. I always like a good storyline, so I hope they throw Artur Silovs at the Canucks.
Yeah, nice money on the board game for Artie. He might get the nod on Sunday afternoon.
He got them earlier.
Oh yeah,
in the season. Remember?
Well, here, but yeah, back in
they won 5-1. So
back in Vancouver.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes down. Penguins are good on the road, 14-7-4 on the road. They've got the 3rd best power play in the league, behind only Edmonton and Dallas, clicking at 27.7 0.4%. So the Penguins know how to zip it around when they get the man advantage. And again, against the Canuck penalty kill right now that's taken on water, one of the games within the game to keep an eye on. All right, late super chat from Nothing is Perfect. My name lies. That was the perfect tank game. Yeah, we kind of started the show that way, so we can end it there
and on that
as
note.
well. Appreciate the contribution to the BC Mental Health Foundation. I like that perfect was in all caps. Yeah, again, fun, goals, some entertainment, mistakes, not great goaltending, but it is an entertainment product, and so we haven't been able to say that about a lot of home games at Rogers Arena. This one was fun, but in the end, the Canucks get the desired result, and that is coming up a goal short against the New Jersey Devils. So the teams split their season series, 1-goal wins. The road team wins on both occasions, and what was billed early in the season as the Hughes Brothers Bowl, well, it really it was just one, and Jack wasn't terribly prominent.
No.
He did have an assist on Nico Hischier's power play goal, but other than that, I mean, I noticed him out there because he's got the puck a fair bit, but it wasn't a big scoring night for Jack Hughes, just the one assist, although he did have 7 shot attempts. All right, 3 o'clock, mark it down up against football on Sunday, so divided loyalties and divided attention, but we'll be on with Rink Wide right after the Canucks and the Penguins, so hopefully you'll join us for that one. Jacob Lazar, our technical producer, helping out behind the scenes. Irf, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll do it again on Sunday. That'll be our next episode of Rink Wide Vancouver.